There's a shift happening in the business world. The hustle, the sell, the push isn't serving us. As business owners, we want real human connection. We want a partnership that means more than a handshake. We want to show up as ourselves and run a business that feels good. We want to go deeper to find solutions, and we dream of a better future for ourselves and our community. Join me as we explore a different approach to business, a more personal way to serve our clients, our team, and ourselves. This is the soul side of business. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of The Soul Side of Business. I am Ashley with Imagine Images, and I'm your guide to discover a more personal approach to business. Today, I'm going to share a conversation I had with Michelle Diedrich, also known as Chelle the Painter. Michelle's an artist, but she has such a great business mindset that our conversations are always full of value and great ideas. You'll see Michelle's work in a lot of local galleries, but she has a very strong online presence. She is also the curator of the Joy Squad, which is her Patreon account. In this episode, we talk about the fear of color and Michelle's unique outlook on social media, and also her mission to spread joy by adding a little color to the world. Let's take a listen. How does your business, how does your artwork help people tell their stories or change their stories, or how does it make them feel about their story? Because that's really the stories about the customer, right?
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And so, especially with my original pieces, they're very personal to me, but I feel like the world is a lot smaller than we think it is, and pieces resonate with other people. And one of my absolute favorite clients, they bought a big piece for me, a 3-foot by 2-foot piece, colorful, because she was singing one time at a venue where I had it located, and someone took a picture of her, and it became her profile picture. It became just something that she looked at so often, and it took them about a year to finally make the purchase, but she always talked about that piece as her piece. It was her piece because she fell in love with it.
Oh my gosh, so you want to be, like, you want to have that connection.
Yeah, and now she told me about how, after they put the piece in, and it's very colorful, they added throw pillows that match the painting. Oh my God. And I'm like, yes, that's what I want to hear. Is like people are adding more color into their life. I think there's such an aversion to color because it's scary. Like, what if it doesn't match? Yeah, don't worry about it. It's not as scary as people think it is.
That's very bold. So do you think, where's that fear coming from, do you think?
I think people think that there's some secret that they don't know about color. And I was relating it once to my friend as like, you don't need to know the rules of English grammar to speak correctly. You don't need to know the intricacies of like, this is why this works. You can hear whether or not something works. It's the same thing with color theory. You might not know the rules of color theory and like why these colors look good together or these colors don't look good together, but you can see it. But I think if you can't explain the why, it's so hard to feel that confidence in yourself.
That's really good.
Thank you.
That's really good. I get that with music a lot too, because you can tell when something isn't quite right.
Yep.
Or it doesn't go, but sometimes that's okay.
Yep.
It makes it more interesting.
Yep.
Yes, so I totally can relate to that. So in your business, what's something that's going really good for you right now?
Right now, I am actually just loving social media. I listened to a podcast about kind of alternate ways to gain clients because social media can be draining. And I was like, it's not for me. Like, I love it. It's just a different form of artwork for me and a different way of expressing my creativity. And I think it can be draining. Absolutely can be. But it can also be this weird source of fun and interaction with people. And I love it.
That's so funny that you can relate that almost to like people afraid of like color and like getting it wrong.
Yep.
And do you think I feel like a lot of people think that about social media, like they're going to get it wrong, so why bother even doing it?
They're going to get it wrong, or like they're trying to serve the algorithm. And I was like, don't worry about that. Worry about the people. Do people like what you're doing? Do you like what you're doing? That was one of the things, is someone commented and was like, or I read a post somewhere that was talking about how if you don't like your own content, nobody's going to like your content. I was like, oh, if I don't like my videos, nobody else is. And I've had a couple of videos that I think they're the funniest thing in the world. Because why not? Just make a funny video.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll do the best because I just really quick shot, doing this, doing that. It's hilarious. Why not post that?
Right. And people love the
Yep.
weird, different,
Oh,
funny
yeah.
things, for sure.
There was a video of me and my 2 dogs. I was trying to get my one dog to kiss me. Because if I,
Yeah.
give kisses, he'll give me a kiss. He was distracted and did not give me a kiss. And then my other dog came up. You can just barely see him in the frame of the camera. Kiss me. I start laughing. And my other dog is just so oblivious to everything. And 7-second reel.
Yeah.
Of that happening. It's hilarious.
Yeah. And how well did that one do?
So well.
Isn't that funny?
Because of course, put a trending sound on it, do this, do that, make it a blooper. Why not?
People relate to that.
Yeah.
It makes you seem like more of a real person.
Yep.
It's very interesting. It's not about selling stuff. It's about connection.
Connection, being a person. And that's a lot of my art is my story. So why wouldn't I want to invite people in to this is the random stuff that happens in my life.
I think you're using it the right way.
Thank you.
I do. I think so. Okay. So if there's something that you could wave a magic wand and solve a problem in your business, like a challenge, and be like, okay, if I could just figure out how this would work, what's something that comes to mind?
I would love if I could solve people's fear of color.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I don't make sad beige art. I don't do bland colors. I make colorful artwork. And I think some of why people are a little bit shy to purchase, especially some of the bigger pieces, is they're so colorful. Like, how's this going to look in my house? It's going to look great.
Mm-hmm. It's bold. It's
Yep.
big.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's going to be such a statement piece.
And that brings about feelings of where you're trying to take from that.
Yeah, it's so joyful being in a colorful space.
Mm-hmm.
Why not have that? Like, I have a post going out later today that's like, why not put more of your favorite colors in your house? Because they're your favorite colors for a reason. Surround yourself with them.
Mm-hmm.
Is beige your favorite color? Probably not.
Well, it's what's on trend right now, right? You look at the magazines and everything is farmhouse and like
Beige.
very stark.
But is it because people actually like it, or is it because it's easy to inventory for large stores?
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very interesting. I never thought of it like that.
I mean, that's the thing, is that if they carry colorful things, which colors do you do? How many of each color? Are people going to buy more of the red pillow at this store and more of the blue pillow at this store? And then they have to figure out how to switch the inventory around. Where if you got light beige, medium beige, and dark beige, it doesn't really matter. Just get the inventory
that's
out.
very interesting because then color is so trendy. That comes in one color one season and then out the next. And then they're stuck with a bunch of stock.
Yep.
But what if you had your favorite color in your own house?
Yep.
It doesn't really go out of style, does it?
It doesn't. Well, and I heard this recently with fashion too, is that if you dress for your body and what you like, trends don't matter. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's the same with home decor. If you make your home something that you just so genuinely enjoy and works for you, who cares about the trends? Mm-hmm. It's not going to matter. Trends are going to come and go all the time so that interior designers can make money and stores can make money. Because you have to redo your kitchen every 10 years or whatever it is.
Yeah. Oh, that's so interesting. It's a business, right?
It's a business.
And they're good at running their business too.
Exactly. And like when you start seeing it that way,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I don't need to do that. I don't need to follow this trend or that trend. Just do what makes sense for you.
Oh, that's so funny. So you're looking at it in a completely different way. Be yourself. Buy things that make you joy.
Yeah.
Or that give you joy.
Give you joy.
Mm-hmm.
Decorate your home in a way that gives you joy and makes you happy and works for you. That's the big thing that people like. Don't do something that works for somebody else on the internet. Do what works for you. And the way you live in your house. Like, I know there are plenty of people out there that like the heart of their home is going to be their kitchen or their dining room because they gather around food. Mm-hmm. And it makes sense in a family setting, 100%. I don't have a dining room table in my house. if someone comes over to my house, I guarantee you I'm not making you food. Like, if we need to eat, we're going to go out somewhere. I'm not a good cook. So I'm not, like, my kitchen is a mess. I'm renovating my home slowly. But the kitchen is just not that important to me. Mm-hmm. Where I found importance was my living room. I want to sit at the end of the day with my dogs on my lap in my couch. So my couch had to be comfortable. My living room has to be joyful. I needed to be full of color. So that's what I'm working on. And that's where I'm going to spend my money and my energy before I spend time on the kitchen. But for somebody else, it's going to be that kitchen that matters. It's going to be that dining room where they're going to have these big family dinners. Maybe it's the master bedroom and, they've got to have this serene space. Invest where it makes sense for you to invest.
That's really good. And I like that message of do what works for you, not what everybody else is telling you. Yeah. It goes so much deeper than how you decorate your house. It goes so much deeper than social media.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. If everybody could just embody that a little bit.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. And that's kind of like what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
It's like you do you.
You do you. It's going to work so much better. Like, it is not sustainable to try and be somebody else or do something else and follow this thing that isn't working. It's not sustainable, and then it's not going to last, and then it's like this feeling of icky shame because it didn't work out. And it's like, no, it didn't work out because it wasn't meant for you.
I love how you're encouraging other people through your work to kind of embrace that.
Yep.
Like, that's great.
Yeah.
There needs to be more of that. More of that. More joy. More of that.
Yep.
All right. Any good advice that you've gotten for someone that made you go like, oh my gosh, like, and helped change the way you think about yourself or your business?
The biggest piece of business advice that recently I heard that was absolutely transformative was to be your own best client. Mm-hmm. And it was said in the context of a business coach and why one of the first things she did was invest in a business coach. She's like, I can't sell business coaching to someone else if I'm not investing that way in myself. Mm-hmm. That's not fair. It's not realistic. Yeah. It's not, that would mean she's not valuing what she's offering other people. So you got to be your own best client. And it really hit home for me that, like, I'm trying to tell people, like, to have this joyful interior and this amazing home that brings you joy and enrichment. And then I was like, oh, I have left my living room half painted for 7 months. I was like, I need to actually do that. And, I have these ideas for my bedroom, and I do have an idea for my kitchen. And I was like, oh, be my own best client. There you go. Do the work and show people that this is what happens when you take a room from, to actually, like, the idea that I have for my bedroom is so good. It's so good. And I'm so excited about it. And yet I've lived in my house for going on 4 years. Mm-hmm. I have not painted. I have managed to hang a new light in the bedroom.
It's the little wins, right?
It is the little wins. But yeah, so I'm like, okay, so this is going to be the season of me being my own best client and really taking those steps in my house and showing that this is how it matters. Like, this is why it matters.
Such a wonderful conversation I had with Michelle, and there's so many great takeaways, but I think the underlying message here is to just be yourself. Do what works for you because it's not sustainable to do anything else. And I think the best business takeaway on this is to be your own best client. If you're a photographer, make sure you're investing in your own photos. If you are a decorator, make sure you're investing in your own spaces. Show that what you do matters and that you value it as well. You can find Michelle on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. All that information is below. If you need any help with any photo or video projects, my information is below. If you're interested in being a guest on the podcast, you can find the contact information there as well. And if you found any value in this conversation today, please subscribe or share with someone that you think will get something out of it. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Soul Side of Business.